Oh, good. So welcome, guys. This is the first recorded all devs call for the Harmony Protocol team. I'm going to go over some of the things that we've been working on the last week, and then get any updates from anybody and discuss any things that we all need to discuss as a team. So basically, my last week or 2 weeks has pretty much been focused on the 1 second finality research paper. I've got a pretty good rough draft complete. I'm going to share with you guys this today, and I would love your feedback. And kind of like I told Soph, like, please be as critical as possible. There's a couple other things I need to add into there. I've been doing a lot of prototyping for just our code base for that 1 second finality. It's pretty much just condensed into this period right here, which is like a hard-coded 2 second wait time. Modifying that to 1 because we use the Byzantine fault tolerance model. Basically will allow, if the computational process only takes 1 second, it would take 1 second, giving us a 1 second block time. Other than that, we had a meeting today, obviously, about the rebasing of dev to main. With that, we're going to move we're going to delete the old dev branch after that PR gets approved, and then we're going to clone from main a new one just to be in sync with each other. So hopefully we don't have the same conflicts like we did today. So other than that, I've been doing weekly reports. Jira kind of lets me do some nice little reporting. So I've been doing like weekly engineering reports for the leadership team. And I'm just trying to finalize that process, trying to get it kind of not just like look aesthetically pleasing, but obviously just kind of organizing it a little bit better each time. So that's what this weekly report process is. So I'm just going to go
Casey,
down this list.
Casey, do you need something to be logged in Jira, like the hours or anything for your weekly report, or is it largely qualitative?
Yeah, so I think the time tracking thing is definitely like I kind of said during our onboarding to Jira. It's not something that's mandatory. It's just to kind of help you track some time. I've been on projects that are really strict about the time tracking, and then I've been on projects that could care less. I've kind of take a middle approach. I think like it's good to kind of like be able to track your time that you've worked on it. Is it important? No, not really. I think it's just like a micromanaging task, but it's there if you guys need it. I tend to not like to do it because I think it's a misrepresentation. I don't really think it's an accurate, and most people will just kind of like guesstimate anyway. So it's up to you guys if you want to use it. If you don't, I don't put it in the report.
Don't need to max on that.
Okay, and is there anything else that you need from us for your report besides the comments that we write on our progress? Is there anything else that will help you with your report? Is I guess what I'm trying to
Um,
ask.
no, because I tend to use the summary a lot, so just making sure everything is up to date. I would like everyone to go through and just like get these estimates of completion done. So like if you look at all of mine, um, there's a few that like this GitHub cleanup doesn't have an estimated date, and then these ones that are in backlog don't, except for like the white paper. I put June 1st of next year, or like next year. Um, so it just kind of once the time frame is exceeded, it's gonna like have this new color. So like on HIP 30 management, I would have thought HIP 30 would have been done a long time ago. I think I just need to go and like reassess, this time. So like now, like we're on the call, like I think like they're doing that snapshot vote next week. So like maybe like the first and or the 19th. So when you do the change, make sure you click out of it and that actually saves it. Because like sometimes what I've done is I've changed it and then I've just pushed X. And so this will save it.
Mhm.
That's screwed me over a lot. Where I'm like, I thought I changed this like 3 times. So, and then obviously, I think when it's in pending development or ready for review, just leave it. You know, like this release has kind of been out there for a long time. I know we need to do the hard fork block time change to get this release, but yeah, it's just pending development. Any questions? Awesome. So we'll just go down the list, give a quick little update, and we'll go from there. Son?
Yeah, for me, I've been just back. I'm back on track on doing research into the slashing. All of my references currently are mostly Ethereum. So I've been just doing reading articles and just research into how they've implemented. I've just started going over their code base, but then this is my first time going over their code base. So I'm just taking my time to really digest that. So this week, yeah, I've been really focusing on that. Just that much.
Awesome.
Sun, let me know if you want, like, if you have specific questions about the code base. Uh, while we went through the broad contours, but if you find anything specific, just message it or let me know if you want to join on a call. I'd be happy
Oh,
to go through it.
yeah, that would actually be very helpful. Yeah, I'll reach out to you. Thanks, Max.
Awesome, son. Yeah, I moved your view change story to done. I think you did a great job on that. That was very in depth. It gave great descriptions, and I love seeing equations and math. So, yeah, great job on that. And I know you're working on the validator slash chain, just like re um, yeah, you're reorganizing yourself to work on this again. So,
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks, Casey.
Constantine.
Yeah, this week I'm working on staging synchronization. Um, it doesn't look like it has more additional bugs. It fixes some of them, and currently it's synchronizing. It starts on block, but not because it's a problem in sync. It's a issue in a database. It contains invalid block, and our synchronization doesn't allow it to insert. As this is absolutely good and valid behavior, and if we want to fix it, we should fix it in blockchain, not in stage sync. So it was another issue on a top height, something related to consensus. And currently I'm switching to this part of stage sync on the top.
Awesome. I see that the deadline is creeping up for tomorrow. If you need to change that, just do it on there. On your peer exchange PR, I see that I think it's still open. I know we merged one yesterday. What I know that is this the one that Max commented on? I don't think so. Looks like there's some conflicts there, but is this something that needs to be approved by everybody?
Okay, I'll fix because every day we merge and something and it's changed.
Yeah, and it's only those 2 files, so I think you can actually do it right in browser pretty easily.
Okay.
Is this the one that we did yesterday where I made the modifications and maybe it's incorrect, so if you could go through that. I think the tests were actually failing after
I'll fix it right now. Don't resolve this.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate that.
May I comment on those PR? It would be good to have a go through description on the PR requests so that, we know what that PR is actually doing. I mean, like on top, either in the issue or something like that says what that PR is doing. Okay, because PR exchange,
It's broad.
and I mean, yeah, I mean, some description. Okay, so that you, I mean, PRs, right, are meant to be read as well by the community, right? And they're not necessarily developer, right? But the validator would be interested to understand, what that PR is about, So it is good practice for every one of us here, right? For every PR that we submit, to also have an explanation, right, on what we are trying to do, or what we are trying to fix, and all those stuff. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Awesome. Constantine, guys.
Yeah. Last week we had a discussion with the team and also Constantine. He were working on the issue for the team, and we were discussing on a part of this code and what is the problem in the sync, because it's like a puzzle. If this issue the pieces together, we couldn't find out what is the problem. So at the beginning of the week, I decided to check some other things. Did some changes on the code. Very few changes, and I put the latest version of the binary on the terminal. All the nodes I deployed on all the nodes. I was checking the root nodes, the configuration. I already informed Solve about that, which we had four, and I just thought maybe two of them was extra. Later, the source told that that two also should be there. So we have 9 nodes plus 4. So we redeployed. All the DevNet start working. I reused one of the DBs that we had before, and it was synced like 500,000 blocks. Thinking part was working. Later, I and Konstantin, we tried to figure out what is the issue, and he was testing other stuff, and I just went to my
I think your connection is really bad there, because I've only heard about 10% of all that.
Oh, so I start from the beginning or what?
No, I mean,
Like a container.
I don't think it's just me, right? Everyone was kind of
Oh,
experiencing that.
sorry. I think it's from my AirPods, maybe.
Okay.
So now it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So since when I walking, it's breaking. So yeah, that's the thing for the DevNet. After that, mainly I was working on the state sync, which I started from last week to implement the code. So I had a discussion also with Casey about start with the snap sync or a fast sync. So basically, the fast sync means same exactly. The node will sync exactly same as the full sync that we already have. So we have 2 types of full sync now. One of them is DNS sync. One of them is stream sync, which means we use the DNS nodes to sync, or we use the stream neighbors to sync. So the fast sync is exactly like full sync. We download everything. We download the block, all the block. We have all the headers. But the only difference is we don't execute the block, which we are doing in the full sync. This execution takes a lot of time. So what we do in the fast sync, we download the states rather than the building or rebuilding the states on our side. So, and then the good thing about fast sync is later we can query the database for the historic data. But in a snap sync, we don't do that. We just care about 128 latest blocks, and we download the latest state for that blocks only. And so we cannot query the database for this story because we don't have them. We only download the headers for those blocks. So we decided to continue with fast sync. I already started the implementation. To see how I can implement that, I was mainly working on the Ethereum code. To be honest, I found one issue also in the Ethereum code. I'm not sure it is correct or not, but maybe I send a PR for them as well later. So yeah, here one thing I wanted to mention is I hear some noises. I don't know. One of the things that I want to mention here, previously we were confusing with the terms. I mean, mostly I was confused. So it was between the stream sync, state sync, and DNS sync, and now we have the new term, staged stream sync. So now just this state sync, when we talk about the state sync, we means fast sync or whatever the Ethereum call it, fast sync. So that's the state sync. I already started implementation, and I think it's like 30% on the client side, because I need to write the client. Later, I integrate the client, and then after that, I will test it with the node. So the client part, like 30% is done. I'm working on that. Still, many things needs to be done on that part. And yeah, we had a discussion also with the Max for iterate the accounts. For me was something that I was really like to know how we can iterate the account. And later I did a few tests on that. Maybe I can share with Max later on that. But and at the end, one thing I wanted to mention, one of the PR that we today also, when we were creating the merge request to the main, I just noticed I forgot to share with you guys is the snapshot integration. This snapshot integration basically is kind of caching on top of the state DB. So everything before it goes to state DB, it goes to the cache. But after a few blocks, it will be written on the DB. So technically, if you restart the node won't have the latest block because they are in the cache. But what it does is it tries to recover it. So, but this functionality, we need to check it. I mean, and we need maybe, I did check, I create a node on the local, and I used it in the DevNet also. But I think this is one of those PRs that have a big potential to break the mainnet again. So better we check it very well before we push it to the main branch. Yeah, but this snapshot integration would improve a lot on the state DB. I mean, like for reaching to one state in the state DB, sometimes we need to 7 times read and write or read from the DB to reach to that state. But with a snapshot, which works like a cache, only 1 or 2 times. That means the number of the reading on the disk would reduce a lot, and that makes the state DB, the performance of the state DB, it will improve it a lot. The performance of the state DB. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Thanks, guys, for
Thank
that.
you, guys.
That's my parrot. Max, what role are you? Kind of relevant.
Hey, so I have been trying to figure out how to reduce the number of shards, the objective being to transfer any balance over from shards 2 and 3 to shard 1. The first step for this is analyzing how much or how many addresses exist on these shards. With Guy's help, I ran. At first, I tried brute forcing through all of the possible address combinations, but that clearly takes up a lot of time, so that didn't work out. I enlisted ISIS. If there is a way to iterate through the database through all of the accounts. Unfortunately, there is no prefix specific to the accounts, so you can't just use the prefix iterator for state DB. But since all of the accounts exist in the Merkle Petruccia tree, it is possible to iterate through the MPT, and each leaf node is representing a singular account. So you deserialize that account from the bytes that's in the value, and that will give you the account. However, there's still a catch. The key in the key value database, the key is the hashed address. It's not the actual address. So you have to use another dictionary from the key value database that's called the pre-images. And using the pre-images, you can go back from hash to address. So at this point, you have the addresses, you have the balances, the nonces, the state root, the storage root for all of the addresses, and lastly, the contract code hash for all of them. So this resulted in about 1800 addresses on shard 1 and 600 addresses on shards 2 and 3. I do feel that this is a bit low. So I've started working on another means to verify this number. And I also understand Artem while he's on leave this week. He also might have these numbers in the Explorer DB to. So once we verify them, we can work on the implementation of the strategy that that we discussed in Discord last time.
Awesome. Yeah. And I did share those with like Steven and a few others just to kind of give them a little bit of an update of what we have found so far. I tend to think that it's an accurate representation of the accounts. And I know that we worked yesterday on optimizing this code a little bit to see if your next run through had any changes. But I personally think it's accurate. I think that's like an accurate representation of the addresses, but I definitely want to make sure that we do the right approach to get this information. So when we shut down those shards, we can bring those back.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank
Anything
you.
else?
No,
I see the gas oracle is ready to go, so hopefully we can push that forward. So. Awesome. Thanks, Max. I think Adam, right? Were you the last one?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, account abstraction. So I would have noted in there. So there's a new the other Ethereum EIP that's it's actually active and not stale like the other one. So it was 2938. This one I think is 4377. It's looking like the whole different implementation of the account abstractions might be moving forward over Ethereum. So I've been watching that really heavily. The other thing that I need to create a board item for this, but the testing of the state pruning, ready to go ahead and get that through testing iterations.
Yeah, I made the comment, and just to kind of get everyone up to speed, I think Adam would be a great help to guide us on pruning. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'll do the initial testing and start do iterative testing on that, and just reach out to everyone if there's questions. I'll reach out to guys if I run into anything. It's basically where I want to start my journey there. The other thing is, and I forgot to mention this, so there's no board item, even though it's on the board. It's a subtask of one of your items. It's for the GitHub cleanup. So I'm still kind of brainstorming on a good, issue cleanup policy. The one I've got floating around in my head, if it's not been resolved in 1 year, we're just going to close out the issue.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I've been slowly removing issues. I think I remove like maybe 20 a week. It's kind of a painful process a little bit because I definitely want to make sure that issues that are relevant, even though they're old, stay in our like frame of view. So I've gone through a lot of ones. I think a good filter is ones that have never been commented on, and I go through those and I see if they're relevant. Some of these ones that have like 20 comments on them, I think are definitely something that should continue to be discussed. But I think the main cleanup item is pull requests. I would like to employ everyone just, in their extra time that they have, just to go through their own PRs. Like Max has a bunch. Some of them are in draft still. So like I know like the pre-compile one, like migration. I think this one is still relevant, you know. So anytime that you have a PR that, you know, could possibly be useful in the future, just leave it up. But anything else, I think, you know, we've done a good job. You know, we only have 26 right now. Like last week we had like 28. So I did close down a few of them. I on a few myself. If you go into the comments, there was a couple, especially from RJ, that I really liked. So if you sometimes if you see a comment, the ones that I've taken on, just leave there. But during our one-on-ones next week, I'll just kind of like, you know, after you know we go over some of the items for you guys, maybe just like go through the PR and see that, you know, maybe can be merged up. I know that there's a few that have been sitting here for a while, so I'm down to kind of clean this up a little bit. Awesome. Anything else from anybody? Soph, you have anything?
No, to me, I just want to make sure that we follow correct process, you know, when we merge PRs now going forward, but we don't have to rework that synchronization issue. Okay, so hopefully with that process that we want to implement is followed, we won't have those problems anymore, and you know, we could now be more proactive or even do more frequent release, okay, on the one mainnet. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I totally agree. And I think like one other thing is like I think this meeting is something that can, I think, take the place of those written out weekly meetings or weekly updates that we give on Telegram. My goal for this is to transcribe everyone's update, put it out there, and then make that report, you know, be a little bit more visual with, you know, some of the tasks that's been worked on. And I think that would be an accurate representation of all of our work effort. I know that the leadership team and Steven have just like wanted us to just write more. I think they're just trying to push that aspect a little bit. And I think like it's not going to be a change within the next week or 2 weeks probably, but that's my goal. My goal is to like have this be you know, a great way to update the team, the community, validators, everybody of what we're working on and to show our value, because we're working on really important stuff and we're pushing this chain forward, and hopefully it makes an impact. So I appreciate each one of you. I appreciate the time. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. I'm sure we all have an open door. So yeah, if there's nothing else, I'll let you guys have a good night.
Thank you very much, Casey. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye bye.